In this lesson, we're just going to look at using tables to scale up and scale down some ratios. The first problem here, a Girl Scout troop of 16 members sells 400 boxes of cookies in 1 week. Assume that this rate of sales continues. Write the relationship between the number of boxes of cookies and the members in this situation as a rate or ratio. Explain your reasoning. So my thoughts are, I have 16 members to 400 boxes. I think I'd prefer actually to write it the other way. 400. It says the number of boxes of cookies and the members in this situation. 400 box tubes. Let's just use a colon here. To 16 members. And this is just because if I got a unit rate, I could say how many boxes per person, per member, and I think that just sounds better, like boxes per member, if I went through and did like the unit rate. So my reasoning is there's 400 boxes, and there's 16 members, so it's 400 boxes per 16 members. And that would be my reasoning. I don't really have additional reasoning beyond that and what I've said. So moving forward, it says complete the table. So it looks like the number of members, and you have to adjust and scale up and scale down your number of boxes. So I'm like, first one is 16, so it's divided by 2. 400 divided by 2 is 200. 32 would be times 2. So this is divided by 2 times 2, so 400 times 2 is 800. 24 would be 8 times 3. So that works. So then I do 200 times 3, which would be 600. And then 20, this is tricky. How do I get to 20? So let's think here. 8 times 2 is 16, but 8 times 2.5 I think works. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry 4, 8 times 2 is 16 plus 4 is 20. I bring in one decimal, 20. Perfect. 8 times 2.5. So 2.5. So 200 times 2.5. So 2 times 200 is 400. Half of 200 is 100, so it would be 500. So it would be 500 to 20. Determine a unit rate. So I didn't look ahead at the time, but obviously I need to do this. So 400 over 16, so per member. So I'm just going to go ahead and divide by 16 and divide by 16, and that's going to equal over 1 member, member, it will be how many boxes? 400 divided by 60. I'm going to use a calculator for that one and pause the video. It is 25. So 25 boxes per member would be the rate. So it seems about every member sold about 25 boxes. Use the unit rate to calculate the number of boxes of cookies 50 Girl Scouts could sell in a week. So now that I have the unit rate, it's pretty simple. So this is boxes of cookies in 1 week. I just wanted to verify that it is boxes of cookies in 1 week, so I don't have to adjust that unit. So I come down here, in 1 week, how many would 50? So it's 25 boxes per 1 member. So I'm just like, okay, well then times 50 would equal 25 times 50 would be 20 times 50. That's going to be 100. And then, 20 times is going to be 2 times 5 is 10. It's going to be 1,000. And then 5 times 50 would be 25 for the 0. So 1,250 boxes in a week over 50 members. Let me zoom in some here so I can get more space to work. All right. Use the unit rate to calculate the number of Girl Scouts that it would take to sell 575 boxes of cookies in a week. Explain the reasons. This one's a little bit of backwards working using the unit rate. So if 25 over 1 times something is going to equal 575 over whatever we're going to end up multiplying by times that thing over the question mark here. So we can call it, let's call it, what are saying, explain, you're saying the number of Girl Scouts. So let's call it G. That looks like a 6. G. All right, that's our variable G. So 575 over G. So what we need to do is basically do 575, work backwards, divided by what equals 25. So 575 divided by 25. It equals 23, so we end up with G equals 23. And so this picture kind of explains my reasoning. 575 over 23 would be the answer. And I just kind of worked backwards. You had x here times G, and 1 times G was equal G. And so we can kind of set up this ratio like this and work it through. Does having the unit rate help you answer these questions, explain why or why not? So my answer to this is yes. With the unit rate, like, I know I'm just basically whatever I'm multiplying by is the denominator. So, like, whatever I multiply or divide by is going to help me. And honestly, I'm always multiplying. I'm always scaling up. So, yes, I always scale up. And the number I multiply by, it's easier to find it because this is going to become your denominator. And the number I multiply by is the denominator. So that just makes it helpful when I know that times G is 23, and I'm like, well, 575 over G, well, wait a minute, 575 divided by what is going to equal 25 over 1. So there's a lot of ways to think about that problem, and it provides a lot of flexibility when I have to come back and then like work backwards. So yeah, I think having the unit rate helps you solve, especially problems like E. I think problems like D probably could have been figured out, but having the unit rate makes it a lot easier. Just like, okay, well, how many Girl Scouts did I have? Multiply by that. Or I don't know how many Girl Scouts. Well, then, divide by divide the number of cookies I sold. So I would divide the number of cookies I sold by 25, and then I would get the number of Girl Scouts, which would be here, that I needed in the troop. So, yeah, the unit rate is very helpful. I think it's a good thing to figure out, especially when you're just trying to answer these different types of questions. That's why it's important to calculate the unit rate. You'll have a bunch of sample problems like this. Sorry that this video is so long. I will stop it now, and that is all.